Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Isaac from Lake Michigan College. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. Excited to talk to you. You guys are in Benton Harbor, which is on the west coast of Michigan. We always say down here in Bradenton, Florida, West Coast is the best coast. So I
Yeah.
guess that holds true for Michigan just as much as it does Florida.
Yeah, there's a little truth to that for sure.
Yeah. Well, now we're talking to you here in October, so it's the middle of your season, so I really appreciate you spending time with me during season. But what when it comes to recruiting, kind of how, give me an idea, what percentage would you say of your time is spent recruiting versus working on your current season, and what you got going on now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So obviously I have to focus on the season. We want to have the best result we can. So that definitely takes the priority, but it's really important to to have the players needed to have a successful season. And this is also the time where a lot of high school students and international students are trying to see where they're going to land the following year. And that's one thing that I think there was major improvement, and that's having to multitask both things. While it's tougher in season, if it's someone that's a little bit more local, they're able to come watch the game, and so that definitely helps with the recruiting. We have had a little trouble with the camera, but we also do stream the games, and so that does allow us to have potential players. Not only follow us, but kind of see where they would mesh in based on how they play, which I think is one of the most important things as well. So I would say it's probably about 80 to 20% in terms of focusing on the season, and then 20% on the recruiting. I at least start putting some feelers, kind of getting to know the person. Most of the time, if they do end up coming here, it's going to take more than just the initial conversation. So it does allow time for the relationship to develop, versus having to crunch everything in June and July for an August start.
So, obviously as a 2-year program, you're recruiting twice as much as the
Yeah.
as the other schools, and it's a never-ending kind of thing. But when, when do you generally wrap up, for the most part, your recruiting class for a particular year? Is it not until June, July? Because you do have internationals reaching out. What's that like?
So I try to have a pretty good sense of the team I'm going to have by March, more or less. There's the reason being is anything can happen. People can pull out because something happened with their family, something financial. There's just a number of reasons, and there was times where I would wait until the very end, and there's always going to be one or two people that end up not being able to come through. And so what I do for that in terms of scholarship money, I do kind of reserve a little bit going into the later or closer to August, because there are last second recruits that do come up. But um, by midwinter, I want to have kind of an idea of who I'm going to have coming in, so I can kind of start formulating what the plan moving forward. Because to your point, I only have 2 years, and so I need to have things prepared a little bit more, because there's not quite as much chance to spend the 3 years developing someone to fit into the program.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, besides the international players, when it comes to
Yeah.
domestic players, where is it that you like to go to look for players? What are some of the tournaments or leagues or things that are on your must-see list every year?
So that's something I tried doing a lot this last couple of years, and going to ID camps and recruiting camps. So those are definitely important, and I look for those, and try to find players there. Uh, I strongly encourage players that do go to those camps to look at every division of coaches that are there. I know the ambition is high at those camps, um, but we are looking at players through there, and the thing that's important with those two, because that's a great opportunity for domestic players. they do message the coaches beforehand. Uh, it's it doesn't have to be, the most well-written email, but definitely something that shows that you took a little bit of time to look into the school. And it's not so much that I want them to know that they want to come here, not, them just kind of shotgunning and seeing what comes up. And so that's really important, because if you want to be here, there's a lot of great things that can come from here, and that because a lot of the recruiting is in moments like this or a lot through online, that initial conversation is really important. So if it appears generic with the amount of emails I'm getting, I am more likely to kind of pass by it. Whereas if something seems much more direct, even if it's as simple as, "Hey, we saw you're right by the lake," that at least lets me know that you're acknowledging the school and that you're kind of seeing your options.
Yeah, it's it sounds like you've been sitting in my meetings with some of the players about how to personalize an email. But well, you get an email from a player, or you're at an event or something. Kind of what makes up that hierarchy of things you're looking for in a player, both off the field and on the field?
Oh, good question. So I think those things kind of do transfer back and forth, and so definitely your character, as a lot of coaches say, is going to be very important. And I want confident players. I want players that, when they see the opportunity that they have to, take up space or maybe even take someone on, that they will do it. But I, in the system that we play, it's really important to understand that you're a part of a system and that you need to distribute the ball. And that's something I look for too. Again, I want the confidence for a player to be themselves, but oftentimes, you miss the point of we need to progress as a team moving forward. And I mean, we've all seen professional teams that have multiple superstars, and if they are willing to work together, that's when you see some incredible things happen. When they're not, that's when you kind of see some cool things happen in the game without any real big success. So I look for both things: confidence, but also, are you able to remove your ego to the side when it's needed? And most of the time, you end up being more successful consequently because of that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, um, when it comes to just recruiting in your team's whole, is there a roster size that you find is ideal that you're looking to hit each year?
So I try to keep it under 30. Um, right now, we have 24 players. I'm very happy with the group we have right now. The positive is I've minimized the difference in skill level between the starters and the people coming in. The difficult part is, just like any player, they want to play. And so with 24 to 30, that gives guys enough of an opportunity to play if they're working hard. And I want everyone to feel a part of the team. So whether you're playing a few minutes at a time or if you're playing the entirety of the game, there's obviously going to be a little bit of difference in how you feel, but I do want to have that connection. And I feel that over 30, it's nearly impossible. With 24, 25, you can have a very sound practice. The people that are working their way up the roster can push the starters so they can, kind of prove themselves. But they don't see it as a impossible task to kind of work their way up. Versus if you're sitting, roster number 40, and you're trying to get in the top 15, that becomes a lot more difficult, and the cohesion of the team kind of drops a little bit sometimes with that.
Yeah. Well, the big thing for a lot of players who are on the fence whether or not to go to junior college is what can I do after? Um, Talk to me about
Sure.
the successes you've had in terms of moving players on who want to move on. What's that look like, and how has that been for you guys?
Gotcha. So this is gonna be the year that I would like to move quite a few players forward. And based off of that philosophy is really how I formulated this group and how I want it moving forward. It's Look, it's up to the coach of a bigger school if they want to take the player or not. And so in any sport, there's a little bit of luck involved with that and a lot of hard work that comes from the player. What my job is one, preparing you for that. So I did go to a NCAA school and I have a little bit of an idea of what that entails, and it is tough. It's you're watching film, practice is mandatory, study tables are mandatory. And so I want you to be prepared to be able to do that if you do move on. So that's number one with that. Um, Number two, the preseason and what we would consider the spring season, during those recruiting events that I'm going to, I'm talking to a lot of coaches from bigger schools. And so I've started establishing a network where we are playing those bigger schools in those off-season times. So if you're looking to play for that school or another bigger school, you're at least getting exposure. You can email the coach before the game. The coach will be able to see you, and then you can establish that relationship with them. And oftentimes coaches talk. So there's been a situation where, for example, a Goshen coach had a player, but it wasn't going to work out financially. So he asked me if there was room on the roster here. And so there is a little bit of communication like that back and forth. And they will kind of follow you through the couple years. But again, I will do whatever I can to put people in the situation. There is some work involved on the player side. So one, creating a list of schools that you would want to go to. If they're nearby, then we will scrimmage them. Two, having that list be realistic. So you have your what I would really love, and then the ones that you would enjoy, and then also paying attention to the school part. It's I mean you're going to be a student athlete, so the school has to match with you as well. If you're trying to go into something medical and it's a business school, then it's not really going to complement one another.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the school.
Mhm.
Um, it's you're on the west coast of Michigan. It's a gorgeous part of the country for sure. I can attest as I've vacationed over there when I was growing up. Um, but what do you find amazing about the school? What are some things you like? Some things maybe we wouldn't even know by going through the website.
Sure. So you are correct. It is a beautiful area. We are in Michigan, so understand that there are seasonal changes here. Uh, when the guys come in August, they do have a great opportunity to spend some time getting to know each other on the beach. So we're really close to a town called St. Joe, and there's plenty to do activity-wise. Obviously, when you come here, your responsibility is to the school and to the team, but we are fairly close to multiple cities. So Chicago is about an hour and a half away from here. The guys go to Notre Dame games quite often, so that's about 45 minutes away from here. Same with Western Michigan, that's about an hour north. So um, it's kind of a pivot city where you can do quite a bit. Um, the campus itself is beautiful. There's a lot of ponds in there. There's a frisbee golf course, and it quite honestly looks like a nature preserve, which there's other beautiful colleges, but we are really blessed to have that. Along with that, in the area, there's a lot of companies that want employees, and so what they've done is a lot of the people that have retired from those companies, they're actually a lot of our faculty members now. And so some of our industrial things, for example, you're getting hands-on from someone that's been through the process. And what's good about our school is if you want it to be kind of a starting point for you to continue to go to school, after this you can, but also we have tons of certificates. There's really no reason that if you want to start working right after here that you can't. Anything from we have the police academy here, so the state police academy is here. Anything from welding, electrical work. We also have a culinary thing. We have a world-renowned chocolatier here. We have two huge hospitals in the area, Corwell and Bronson. So both of those hospitals do end up picking up students from us as well. Have that be rad tech, nursing, sonography, and things like that. And it's something I'm personally excited about. They've added a exercise science program, which is what I ended up doing. And as well, they we have a physical therapist assistant program as well. So there is quite a bit. We have 50 plus programs here and 30 plus that will guarantee you a certificate as soon as you're finished with the school here.
Yeah, well, that's very impressive. Um, well, we're it's October. You're kind of in that heart of that conference season. Kind of walk
Hmm.
through what does a typical week look like um, for a player right now in terms of winter classes, meals, game cadence, all that kind of thing.
Sure. So we practice most of the season very early. So we start practice at 7 in the morning, and that gives the players one. It shows me that they have the sense of discipline to want to be here. We don't run it in a military type of way, so it's you have to want to be here, and so far everyone's been good at that. Because we're in Michigan, sunlight doesn't complement us well all the time. So now we've transitioned a little bit to um, just 2 times a week. We're in the morning, one of which is film, and then we're in the afternoons. Our games right now, and it'll probably be like this moving forward as well, are Wednesdays and Saturdays. So those days are taken up by the games. Classes, you'll have a couple classes a day, and then you have quite a bit of free time in between, apart from practice. We do have mandatory study tables. And so a typical week will kind of look like you have practice, go to class. If it's a Monday, Tuesday, or Friday, you will go to study tables, um, and then kind of go through the week. What is different and actually turned out to be beneficial for us and the athletes, we don't have a meal plan. So the food itself, we have tons of grocery stores about a mile away, and the guys do a good job of going to the grocery store together and kind of do that as a team. But you have your own kitchen, so meal wise, you're able to make your own food, and again, it really does prepare you for what you're gonna have to do as an adult. If you're lucky enough to have a chef, that's great, but a lot of times you're gonna have to cook your own food and know what to eat as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, that pretty much is the week. When we travel, we do travel by charter bus, which is different than some schools. And I guess touching base back on the school, everything is pretty new here right now, and it's it's something that I looked at when I was going to college. The facilities, and there's still going to be more and more improvement as the years kind of go by.
yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds great. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the team. Um, you talked about the roster size. Who else makes up that roster? Talk to me about your staff, maybe some athletic department support staff that help out with the team. What's that look like?
Sure. So I have an assistant coach, and so he helps out quite a bit. We also have an athletic trainer that will um, be on site for a couple practices throughout the week. She's a former goalkeeper, so once in a while she'll also kind of chime in and jump in. I am trying to see if we can start bringing in some interns as well. So I would like to have a little bit bigger staff in which especially if they're thinking about being coaches. I think the first year at this level was um, it was a little bit more of a shock for certain things that on the organizational side that I think if someone's interested in doing that, it would and they don't go through a GA program, that an internship would be I would really really recommend it. The the X's and O's are important, but there's a lot that goes in before you even get onto the field. The athletic directors, uh, they set up everything obviously, but with our staff size being the size it is, you're going to be involved with everyone on the staff. So um, you'll often see the athletic director do more multiple roles and kind of be around the team more than you might see in another school on that.
Okay, cool. Um, what about you? Let's talk. Let's hear about your
Sure.
coaching style. What can folks expect to hear from you as a head coach?
So, I think I'm a very mentally driven coach. So I think by the time we're here, I have a somewhat of an understanding if you can play. So a lot of it comes to what your personality is and what your mentality is. I preach a lot on the, being in the moment and having self-awareness. And and I touch base on that a lot. So like a lot of coaches, maybe I sometimes speak in metaphors, um, relating to something else or something in life. And I think that it's not intentionally to be corny. I think that if someone can understand the why and what to do versus listening to me and doing exactly what I tell them, it puts them in a much better situation, especially on the field where let's take so actually my CDM was asking me about this yesterday. He was saying when I'm in this situation, what could I do here versus here? And so I just put him right there, and I had him look up, and I go, well, what are you seeing? And so I'm here to direct, and I'm here to help out and help to develop and continue growing, but this is more of a we need to do this together type of thing. And within that, with an understanding that I'm still the one leading and in control, but I want the player to learn, not to, just be subservient to whatever I say, um, because I'm only going to have them for 2 years. And part of it, if the goal is for them to continue, they need to become a student. The next coach should be able to maybe even tell them something different, and they might need to adjust this. Maybe the system that they play at the next school is completely different, and they're going to have to adjust accordingly. Or quite honestly, maybe they don't end up playing soccer after this. These are life skills that I think they're going to have to know in any sort of job situation, any adulting situation that comes forward. Is what do I do here? Because coach didn't specifically ever go over whatever this is. It's versus okay, this is a lot. Coach talked about not panicking, immediately looking at your options, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's kind of the philosophy I kind of take forward.
Ah, love that. Well, Coach, you've given us a lot of info. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it. Going to leave you with one last question,
sure.
and that is, if you had one piece of advice for, any student athlete going through this recruiting process right now, what would that be?
It's a good question. I would say remember why you started playing. It's uh, it's probably because you loved it, and so it's something that's going to be important moving forward. Uh, and that could mean that maybe you really, really wanted to go D1 in the Big Ten, but a Division 1 school not in the Big Ten asks you, or a Division 2 or Division 3. Uh, remember why you wanted to play over what division that you end up on. There's plenty of stories of people that go big from not giant schools, and oftentimes it's because they just kept pursuing loving the game, and that allowed them to learn more and become a student of the game. So I would say remember why you started playing.
Love it. Well, really appreciate it, Coach. Wish you the best of luck as you wrap up your season, and hopefully it doesn't get too cold and snowy there in Michigan very
Yeah,
soon.
let's
All
hope.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.